Hello, welcome to July 15th, 2022. I'm Kurt, and this is my daily Good Life meditation video. This is something I do every morning just after waking up to remember my life objectives and principles and to see how I'm doing applying them to my immediate days, namely last night and yesterday, and to plan for the coming day. So first, last night, slept good, went to bed on time. I only got up maybe once, and I slept until, wow, the alarm, even the alarm had a tough time waking me up. And don't worry, this is not turning any corner. I just, for some reason, had an exceptionally good night's sleep, and I feel it. I feel good. It feels good to sleep well. It's funny, I'm reading Samuel Johnson's a second poem of his. What's the title? I'm just going to creak the book open just enough to read the title. It's called The Vanity of Human Wishes. Just creak it, it's so old. And it was talking about sleep quite a bit. It's actually based on the 10th satire of Juvenal, which I read just to prepare myself for this. And Juvenal talks about it as well. And he talks about, it's basically, I'm going to need to study it more today. I think I'm getting it. It's basically the price of ambition, where ambition can cost you in terms of your character, your virtue, even your safety, your reputation, and even your good night's sleep. I'll leave it at that. I think I get it so far. So maybe it's maybe it's a sign of my failed ambition that I slept well last night. It could be a little bit of that. I was thinking about at work how the experience of going away and working somewhere else was a really good one for me in many ways, even though the immediate experience was very hard. It disabused me of some ambitions, namely the ambition of management. And I'm enjoying the peace of being a sole contributor. My scope of responsibility is the immediate assignments that I've been given. It doesn't mean I don't look after the larger responsibilities, but that is better for my well-being. I'm not ambitious. I'm not. Well, at least not in a professional sense. I think I'm ambitious in other ways. Certainly ambitious to learn, and I'm quite ambitious to live well, which maybe is why I'm not ambitious at work. Although I do work very hard. I just don't grab more responsibility, wider scope than I can manage. Yeah. Okay, what's the next thing? And then yesterday was just a really good, solid day of work. Just, yeah. I mean, from a 1 to 10 scale, I would give it an 8. Yeah, an 8 was a good day. And mostly my days are 9s, so it wasn't as good as I normally do. But I was feeling spent. It was 3 9s in a row before that. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I finished the week with an 8. Okay, next, my good life meditation. 7 objectives. These are: number 1, to be always ready to die. 2, to make good and effective use of my time. 3, to develop and maintain good and sound life principles. 4, to cultivate good emotional reactions. 5, to perform good actions. 6, to to recognize true limits and true opportunities. And 7, to do just one thing at a time, and to do that thing slowly and deliberately and carefully. That's my life objectives. Now the 30 principles that I use to achieve these. 1, the principle of war. 2, the principle of reason and the sub-principles of honesty, objectivity, and doubt. 3, the homunculus, the suggestion that I have no soul. 4, the Anchorhold, the idea that the thing, though I don't have a soul, the thing that I do have, my consciousness, is trapped within my head and will go down with the ship. Oblivion awaits. 5, the home of good and evil. Right and wrong are mere opinions that I hold, develop, and carry through life. They don't exist objectively in the world unless I can, they can exist objectively to the extent that I can create, I can identify good and evil, right and wrong. I can define them in such a way that they can be measurable. And then I can reach agreement with others. So we both agree that some measure that something is true. And then we agree, and then it's objective. Like if we were able to come to an agreement that drinking battery acid is not advantageous to the well-being of human beings. And if you agree with me on that position, then we have an objective measure of good, bad. But it doesn't exist outside of our minds. There doesn't appear to be any mind beyond us that can hold this objective perspective. That's what makes it subjective in the end. It's an opinion. I have a lot of work to do on this one. So that was 2 principles really. The homunculus and Anchorhold. Next comes purpose. And the 3 purpose in my life are to be a good husband and father, to be a virtuous human being, and to pursue the sharing of my story and my message, my creed in my book, Going Alone. Next comes the atomic principle. Everything is made of bits and pieces. And then the principle of nature. Everything has some particular nature. And then the pirate ride. The idea that free will is an illusion. And then maturity and the sub-principles of wisdom and fortitude. And then the social principle. We need each other. And then public speaking. A reminder to be careful about what I say and what I write. And to never gossip. And then the Feast of Offal. Reminder to hold in my upset and not soil others with it. And to be very careful about how I interact with others when they're sharing their upset. Something I've actually had to deal with a little bit lately. There's someone in my life who's been having a rough time. And I'm never in this person's presence, so I don't have to worry about managing it in the moment, but it's something that happens in more of an online setting. And that person wants me to participate in that. Because it helps to spread the pain. But I've worked very hard to get to a position in life where, a mental position in life where I don't, it's not that I don't, but I live in such a way that I don't. I guess it is I don't. Okay, did you ever see, there's a movie that came out a few years ago from a Spanish director, I think it was. I can't quite remember what the movie was, but there's a scene where a girl drops into a room and there's a monster at the end of the table. And the table is filled with a banquet, with meats and fruit and desserts. And the girl has to get something from one end of the room. And there's 3 little fairies in there. Then the fairies are warning the girl to not touch any of the food, let alone eat it on the table, lest it wakens the monster. And she does, of course. And the monster does arise and nearly gets her. That's what it's like. It's like this person struggling with and consuming the feast, that and waking the monster. And well, the monster hasn't quite woken yet. I gave it away. It's him. And I'm not gonna eat that feast. I don't want that monster awake. So that's what it's like. And he's like beckoning to me. Come. It's good. Come on. I ain't doing that. I've seen that movie before. So anyway, that's the Feast of Offal. Funny, I used the feast to actually embellish that. No, I got backwards, didn't I? Because I was on. How did I get there? Because I talked about public I talked about the social principle. Yeah, and then I talked about public speaking. I kind of got myself mixed up and lost now, didn't I? I think that's where I was. After public speaking comes temperance, I think. No, I'm messed up. Let me check. Because all these principles are listed in my book going along, so there's a chapter for all that stuff. Okay, majority of the social principle, public speaking, temperance. Yeah, temperance is next. And the sub-principles of suffering, simplicity, and apathy, which is our controlled consumption. And then the horror show, life is a pretty scary place. And then that which must be borne, what do we have to carry? We have to carry our responsibilities, and the fact of the horror show. Maybe that's how I got there. Then is the Feast of Offal. I was at the Feast of Offal, so I was messed up. And I did use a feast to embellish a feast. Next comes the principle of distraction. We distract ourselves with all the stuff that we do in life. And what are we distracting ourselves from? Agency, and particularly the great indifference, which is the emptiness of the universe, a universe without God. Then comes the best seat in the house, to not want to be anyone else, be anywhere else, or be doing anything else. And then the Path of Wildness, which is a way to move from one life story into another, a segue of sorts. Then the risk of avoiding risk, the surface level and deep level risks of life. Sin and damnation. The sins in my life are falsity, credulity, faith, superstition, dogma, authority, and gossip. The consequence of these things is damnation in the here and now. And then complete oblivion. Since there is no God and we have no soul, there's nothing to follow after death. Just a oblivion. We'll never see our loved ones again, or have a chance to make amends, or see justice served. Then comes the great life adventure. One or more deep experiences that helps to create the story of our personhood. And then the season of philosophy, time to record what we've learned along the way. And then the bullseye aim. It's fun when I can just read it. Like, I don't need to read it. And then the bullseye aim is the shooting for the mark but usually missing. The uphill climb, trudging, and then nothing is enough. A suggestion not just towards temperance, but in the direction of abstinence. And then finally, the principle of fun, a reminder to have fun now, look forward to it, and remember the joys of the past. There we go, there's my good life creed. Nicely put to bed. Or no, caught up from bed because it's the start of the day. Speaking of which, what am I going to do today? It's my day off. I'm going to spend the day here in this room. For the most part, I'm going to upload this video, then I'll go and read my chapter in the Bible, then I'll feed the dogs, I'll take them for a walk, and then I'll feed them, and then I'll fire up the computer. I'm going to do some research. I want to read Juvenal's 10th satire once more, and then I'm going to tackle that same poem from Dr. Johnson again. And then from there, I'm going to work on setting up an Amazon store. Yumiko and I have an idea for a tea business. So I'm going to set that up, see what I can do to set that up and research some product. Yeah, because I got some tools. That should be my day. So have a good day. Be safe, but not too safe.